Hey guys, in this video I'm going to explain resting potential, action potential, and its afterwards. But let's start with the definition of a neuron and its structure. So a neuron transmits electrical signal throughout the body and communicates with the cells through short distance chemical signals. A cluster of them is called ganglia, which is in the brain. And they also form the brain. So as we can see in the picture, neurons have a cell body which contains the nucleus and other organelles. It also contains the short dendrites connected to the cell body that receive the signals from the other neurons. The signal that is received then travels through the neuron by the axon, and an axon originates from the axon hillock and continues to the synaptic terminal. The cell that sends the signal is called the presynaptic cell, and the cell that receives it is called the postsynaptic cell. Generally, there are three types of neurons: sensory and motor. Sensory neurons send the signals that are about an external stimuli to the brain, and then in the brain we have the interneurons that integrate this information and send it to the orders to impact the muscle or gland activity, and then these orders are carried by the motor neurons. So now let's focus on the resting potential of the neurons. Voltage difference is basically the membrane potential that exists across the cell's plasma membranes. When a neuron is at rest, its membrane potential is called the resting potential. In a neuron, the concentration of potassium ions is higher inside of a cell compared to its outside, while the opposite is true for the concentration of sodium ions. Sodium-potassium pumps maintain these conditions by pumping 3 sodium ions out of the cell and entering 2 potassium ions into the cell. But the ion channels that are across the membrane cause the diffusion of potassium ion to outside of the cell. This causes a negative potential inside of the neuron, and then a positive potential outside of the neuron. And then let's keep in mind that a neuron that rests has more potassium ions channels open compared to sodium ion channels. So neurons also have gated ion channels that open or close in response to stimuli and alter the membrane potential. A stimulus that opens gated potassium channels will result in hyperpolarization, since the potassium ion flows out and the membrane potential decreases. When the gated sodium channels open, then sodium ion flows in and depolarization occurs, and the inside of the cell becomes less negative. We have another type of ion channels, which are voltage-gated ion channels that open or close in response to a change in membrane potential. When depolarization occurs, sodium ions inflow which causes more sodium channels to open. This causes the membrane voltage to reach the threshold and an action potential is triggered. This is an all or none event and always creates the same positive voltage spike. That means that it either happens or does not. And the positive feedback of sodium ion inflow is the rising phase, while the inactivation of voltage-gated sodium ion channels and the opening of voltage-gated potassium ion channels result in the falling phase. During the undershoot, the membrane's permeability to potassium ions is higher than in rest, and potassium ions outflow causes hyperpolarization. During the refractory period, in which sodium ion channels remain inactivated, the neuron cannot respond to another stimulus. Thank you.